In 2025, something major is shifting in the world of travel. If you're an American, your passport, which has historically been one of the most powerful in the world, is now being met with a series of unexpected roadblocks. Countries that once welcomed U.S. citizens with open arms are now raising visa walls. No longer can you simply book a flight and show up at your destination without considering a new, increasingly complex process. It's not just about long security lines at airports anymore. It's about a political and procedural shift that will impact how Americans travel internationally. This year, Americans are finding themselves facing new visa requirements in places they used to visit freely. These countries, from Brazil to Europe and beyond, are introducing bureaucratic hurdles, new fees, and some even carrying political messages. In some cases, you might find yourself needing more than just a passport to get in. There are new steps, documents, and even delays waiting for you. So, if you're planning to travel in 2025, this video could save you time, money, and a lot of frustration. Stick around, because we're going to break down the countries that now require a visa for U.S. travelers and explain the reasons behind these changes. This could completely alter how you prepare for your next international trip. But before we dive in, hit that like button, comment below with the destination that caught you off guard, and don't forget to subscribe. Let's start with Brazil. Once a go-to destination for American tourists, but as of April 10th, 2025, it's no longer a visa-free destination for U.S. travelers. That's right. After 6 years of visa-free travel, the Brazilian government has decided to reinstate visa requirements for American citizens. This is part of a larger shift in how countries handle travel and visas, where reciprocity has become more important than ever. Why the change? Well, it comes down to reciprocity. For years, U.S. citizens could travel to Brazil without needing a visa, while Brazilians have always needed one to visit the U.S. Brazil made the decision that it was time for a level playing field. With this shift, Americans must now apply for an electronic visa e-visa online before traveling to Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, or other popular destinations. This new process not only requires paying the standard visa fees, but it also introduces a new layer of bureaucracy that U.S. travelers were once able to avoid. The Brazilian government's decision is part of a broader political shift, signaling that countries across the globe are becoming more serious about the treatment they receive in return. Brazil's new visa requirements are meant to send a message about the importance of reciprocity and also ensure better control over who's entering the country. It's a calculated move, reflecting a global trend of countries becoming more protective of their borders and their policies. For those who've been to Brazil before, it may be a bit frustrating to see this change, but the application process isn't too complicated. You'll need to apply for the e-visa, provide documents like your passport, flight details, and payment info. However, the real challenge here is that the political landscape is affecting travel. This won't be the last time countries make these kinds of moves. Make sure you plan ahead so that the next time you're in Brazil, you're fully prepared. Now, let's talk about Europe, a place that used to be one of the most convenient travel destinations for Americans. But in 2025, a new system has changed the game for all U.S. citizens planning to visit any of the 26 Schengen Area countries, ETIS, European Travel Information and Authorization System. This system is set to impact thousands of travelers who once took spontaneous trips to European capitals. Unlike a typical visa, ETIS is an online travel authorization. While it isn't a full-fledged visa, it acts as one in practice. U.S. travelers are now required to apply online, pay a €7 fee, and wait for approval before entering countries like France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and Greece. While the process is quick and the authorization lasts for 3 years, it marks the end of spontaneous travel to Europe. Why did this happen? Reciprocity is the main reason. European countries, much like Brazil, are responding to the U.S. own travel restrictions. In fact, this new system is Europe's version of the U.S. ESTA system, which has been in place for years. The ETIS system gives Europe better control over who's entering the region, while also allowing them to capture relevant information about American travelers before they arrive. This shift in policy affects everything from business trips to vacations. While the application process itself is relatively simple, The fact that spontaneous, visa-free European travel is now over for Americans is a big adjustment for many frequent travelers. The days of just booking a flight and showing up are officially behind us, and the ETIS system is Europe's way of ensuring more structured tourism and better border control. Moving on to India, one of the most exciting and culturally rich countries to visit. While India has always required US citizens to obtain a visa, the process has become far more stringent in 2025. In fact, India's e-visa system now includes additional verification steps, including biometric identification and passport photo standards that are more detailed than before. But that's not all. If you plan to visit sensitive regions within India, such as near the borders or areas with higher security risks, you should expect even more questions and deeper scrutiny. The Indian government is tightening its national security measures, and travelers, especially Americans, are feeling the impact. The Indian government has made it clear that they want to ensure security and control the flow of tourists into their country, especially with so many sensitive issues on the table. India's visa process isn't just about paperwork. It's about ensuring a secure flow of tourists into the country. In 2025, if you're visiting India, it's more important than ever to triple-check your documentation and ensure that everything matches exactly what the system requests. Small errors or missing details could lead to delays or even rejections, which could completely throw off your travel plans. While you can still apply online for an e-visa, you'll need to be extra cautious in the application process. Mistakes or delays could result in an entire itinerary being ruined, so make sure you're thoroughly prepared before submitting your visa request. Now let's talk about the United Kingdom, one of America's oldest and closest allies. In the post-Brexit world, things have gotten tighter at the UK border. Starting in 2025, US citizens now need an ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization, to visit the UK. While this system isn't new to some countries, it's a first for the UK and adds an extra layer of bureaucracy to travel. To visit London, Edinburgh, or anywhere else in the UK, US travelers must apply online, pay a £10 fee, and have their ETA approved before boarding a flight. The ETA is valid for multiple entries, but if you don't have it, you won't get on the plane. The implementation of this new system is part of the UK's stricter border control measures post-Brexit, and it's a clear indication that even longtime allies are becoming more protective of their borders. While the process is straightforward, the reality is that this marks a significant shift in the relationship between the US and the UK. It's no longer enough to show up at the airport and get on a plane. You must now plan ahead and deal with additional paperwork before you even get to Heathrow. So, if you're planning a trip to the UK, make sure to apply for your ETA early and ensure everything is in order before your departure. Finally, let's take a look at Namibia, one of the most stunning and adventurous destinations in Africa. Starting on April 1st, 2025, Namibia has implemented a new visa requirement for US travelers. Now, Americans need to apply for a visa either online or on arrival at the airport, with an associated fee of about $88. The reason? Namibia is seeking to tighten border control and ensure more regulated revenue from tourism. While this is a step toward more structured management, it's definitely an adjustment for US tourists who previously enjoyed a smooth entry process. The African continent as a whole is shifting its approach to tourism, with more countries opting for e-visas or online authorization systems to ensure proper regulation. While this change may feel like an inconvenience to many, Namibia's natural beauty and growing tourism industry make it a must-visit destination. The country's vibrant wildlife, stunning landscapes, and rich culture are more than enough reason to keep Namibia on your travel bucket list. Just remember to prepare ahead and apply for your visa before you go. So, why are so many countries suddenly tightening entry requirements for US travelers in 2025? The answer is simple: reciprocity, national security, and the need for more control over global tourism. This isn't just a travel inconvenience. It's a reflection of how countries are adjusting to a rapidly changing world. As travelers, we need to adapt too. Planning ahead is more important than ever. Check visa requirements, apply early, and make sure your passport is valid before booking your next international trip. The days of simple, spontaneous travel are behind us. But with the right preparation, your trips can still be just as exciting. If you found this video helpful, like this video, comment your thoughts on these new rules and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.